Discover the incredible moment a little girl invited a lonely CEO to join her heartwarming family dinner. Lucy lived in a bright little house in a bustling suburb of Ohio, where laughter echoed between family game nights and the warm sunshine beckoned kids outside for community picnics. But her heart felt a tug. Across the street lived Mr. Thompson, the newly relocated CEO of a tech company that used to sparkle with success but seemed to have dimmed under the weight of his corporate failures. He walked around with an air of loneliness that felt heavier than the grand, empty house he inhabited. Lucy could sense his sadness like the faint smell of rain before a storm. One sunny afternoon, driven by her tender heart, Lucy hatched a plan. "Mom, let's invite Mr. Thompson to dinner," she exclaimed, her blue eyes sparkling with determination. Her mom smiled, but there was hesitation in her voice as she glanced at Lucy's dad. He was furrowing his brow, skepticism lurking around the corners of his mouth. "Lucy," her father began, "he's a big-time CEO. You know how they can be. They don't always care about us regular folks." But Lucy, unwavering, insisted that kindness could transcend even the tallest corporate walls. "But Dad, what if he just needs a friend?" As the day of the dinner arrived, Lucy fluttered around the kitchen, setting the table like she was preparing for a royal banquet. The aroma of her mom's famous lasagna filled the air, warm and inviting. She placed her favorite unicorn napkins at each plate, knowing Mr. Thompson must have forgotten what simple joy felt like. The doorbell rang, and in walked Mr. Thompson, hesitantly clutching a small bottle of wine, his demeanor stiff and reserved. But then, just like the sun breaking through the clouds, Lucy ran to him with a big smile. "Welcome." She beamed, as if she could radiate warmth straight into his frozen heart. Over dinner, stories spilled forth like secrets hidden beneath layers of ice. Lucy shared her dreams of becoming an astronaut, her face lighting up with passionate words. Mr. Thompson listened intently, his sharp blue eyes softening as he found a flicker of hope in the girl's innocent ambition. Memories of his own childhood filled with dreams and aspirations surged forward, illuminating the parts of him that had long been hidden. They connected over heartaches and a shared sense of resilience, both finding inspiration in the other, but the next day brought career day at school. Lucy had invited Mr. Thompson to speak about his journey, believing in the magic of connection. Yet, her classmates' reactions were mixed. Innocent but stinging remarks about the costly failures of corporate giants filled the air. While Lucy's heart raced with discomfort, Mr. Thompson felt the sting of rejection wrap itself around him like a heavy cloak. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Just as Mr. Thompson started to sift through the wreckage of his identity, news of a scandal broke. It shattered his already thin reputation, and judgment flooded the community like an unexpected storm. Lucy's hopeful smile dimmed as she realized the barriers of prejudice and ambition loomed large. Would her small act of kindness shatter the icy walls that had imprisoned this man, or was he destined to be defined by his failures? As Mr. Thompson stood at the crossroads of his future, Lucy's innocent belief in his worth echoed in his heart. Would he rise to the occasion that her kind gesture had sparked, or would he slip back into his loneliness? The doorbell rang, pulling at the fabric of the moment, signaling yet another twist in a story that had already begun to weave itself into the fabric of their lives. Lucy's heart skipped as she rushed to the door, anticipation bubbling inside her. Just as she turned the doorknob, she caught a glimpse of Mr. Thompson, looking worn and weary. But his eyes held a flicker of determination ignited by the invitation he had received. "Ms. Lucy," he said, his voice softer than the last time they spoke. "I came by because I wanted to see how you were doing." His smile was tentative, but for Lucy, it felt like a breath of fresh air. "Oh, it's just another day," she proclaimed, looking over her shoulder at her parents, who were cautiously peeking from the kitchen. "Want to come in for a snack? Mom made cookies." Mr. Thompson hesitated, glancing back at the shadows of his past that lingered behind him like ghosts. But as if sensing her unwavering belief in him, he took a step over the threshold. In the cozy kitchen, the warm smell of baked goods filled the air. Cookie crumbs flew as Lucy animatedly shared stories of her day. Mr. Thompson listened, occasionally chuckling, his laughter deepening with each delightful tale. For the first time in what felt like ages, he allowed himself to revel in the spirit of childhood, where dreams danced freely. But the shadows hadn't vanished completely. The weight of the scandal still loomed, and it gnawed at him like a stubborn itch. Amongst the laughter and cookies, a silence slipped through the unspoken words of doubt that he feared would overshadow their bonding moment. Lucy caught the glint of worry in his eyes. "Mr. Thompson, did you know that even the best astronauts still have to deal with failure? They learn from it," she said with a fierce tilt of her head. Her words struck a chord. For a moment, he was lost in a whirlwind of hope, realizing that his worth did not hinge solely on the opinions of others. But as the afternoon sun began to wane, a subtle reminder of reality slipped back in. A notification pinged on Mr. Thompson's phone, a news alert that the community was buzzing about him again, twisting and distorting the truth to fit a narrative of failure. He felt himself slipping, the dark clouds of isolation threatening to engulf him once more. Lucy noticed the change. "It's okay, Mr. Thompson. You're more than just those words." He paused, looking into the innocent eyes that sparkled with trust. Yet, he felt the tug of obligation pressing on his heart. Would he let her down? "Lucy, what if I mess this up?" he whispered, vulnerability breaking through the walls he had built around himself. She leaned forward, her sincerity shining like a beacon. "You can't mess up being you. It's the only you there is." Those words wrapped around him, a comfort amid chaos, igniting a spark of resolve. But as they shared this moment, another knock echoed through the air, breaking the haven they had created. "What now?" Mr. Thompson whispered, uncertainty creeping back into his chest. He knew the kind of listeners who would arrive at his door, faces filled with judgment, along with expectations he couldn't meet. With a deep breath, Lucy opened the door, unaware of the storm brewing just beyond. As the door swung wide, an unexpected figure stood there, poised to unravel everything that had started to mend. Would Lucy's unwavering spirit be enough to guide Mr. Thompson through the darkness? And what truths would this visitor hold? When Lucy opened the door, her smile flickered for a moment, replaced by surprise and confusion. Standing on the porch was Mrs. Granger, the town's gossip queen. Dressed in her usual overly floral attire, her expression was a mix of concern and indignation, as if she was already preparing a statement for the local news. "Mr. Thompson," she exclaimed, her voice piercing the moment like a knife. "I hope you aren't troubling little Lucy with your situation." Mr. Thompson's heart sank, a wave of dread washing over him. Lucy didn't back away, though. Instead, she stood firm beside him, her small hand resting on his arm, an anchor amidst the storm. "What do you mean?" Lucy challenged, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Mr. Thompson is my friend. He came to visit me." Mrs. Granger huffed, adjusting her glasses, which magnified her eyes to the size of saucers. "Friend? You really think that's wise? People are talking." "His past people talk," Mr. Thompson interrupted, summoning courage he didn't know he had. "But that doesn't define who I am. This girl sees me differently, and that is worth more than any rumor." Mrs. Granger opened her mouth, ready to lash out, but Lucy was quicker. "Mr. Thompson helped me learn about the stars. He is smart, and he makes me happy. That's all that matters." The fire in her voice was surprising even to herself, but it also ignited something in Mr. Thompson, a poignant sense of belonging. "I'm not just my mistakes, Mrs. Granger," he said slowly, the words heavy but freeing. "I'm not a reflection of the headlines. I'm here because I believe in new beginnings for myself and for the people who matter to me. For a moment, time seemed to pause. Lucy's words hung there, vibrant and defiant, challenging the dull grayness that surrounded Mr. Thompson's name. Mrs. Granger faltered, her brows knitting together as confusion crossed her face. The world outside their door was blurry, almost distant, but inside the home, colors swirled and brightened between them, filling the air with warmth. Maybe this isn't the right time for you two to, she started apologetically, but Lucy would have none of it. Then give us time. Everyone deserves a chance, even if you don't understand it. You know, Mr. Thompson showed me that even astronauts have to fail to reach the stars. With that, the door began to feel like a protective shield. They were two against one, fiercely united. Mrs. Granger, taken aback, seemed to wrestle with her own conscience. In that moment, doubts flickered within her, perhaps the whispers she had blindly accepted weren't the full story. Lucy, sweetheart, I let us be. Lucy's voice was firm, the resolve behind it unyielding. She stepped forward, drawing a line in the sand, and Mr. Thompson found himself standing taller. The awkward silence dissolved into an avalanche of emotions, as Mrs. Granger's shoulders slumped slightly. She turned, walking away without another word, her long, floral dress trailing behind her like a misunderstood story in motion. Mr. Thompson turned to Lucy, wide-eyed and overwhelmed. You stood up for me. I did, she smiled, beaming with the light of 1,000 stars. I believe in you, Mr. Thompson. I believe in us. Just then, the weight of the world lifted a shield from him, making everything feel possible. But as their laughter filled the kitchen, another ping came from his phone, another notification that threatened their moment of peace. What now? He murmured, knowing that the storm was far from over. Behind them, the shadows extended once more, some truths yet to be faced. Would Lucy's strength be enough to weather the approaching storm? And could Mr. Thompson find the courage to truly believe in himself? Mr. Thompson felt the laughter fade as he reluctantly reached for his phone. The screen lit up with a message that sent his heart racing. A news alert, one of the latest articles about him. His past was catching up with him again, creeping into the comfortable space Lucy had carved out for them. Lucy watched him, her expression shifting from joy to concern. What is it? It's nothing, really, he lied, forcing a smile. But the worry knitted his brow as he glanced at the screen. The headline read, Local CEO's troubled past resurfaces. What's next for Thompson Industries? Silence enveloped them. The warmth that had sparked moments ago faded into a chill. His breath hitched in his throat, the reality of his life's chaos knocking. Mr. Thompson. Lucy's tiny voice broke the stillness. You don't have to look at that. Focus on the stars. Remember what you said. How could he? He felt the weight of every mistake drag him down. But Lucy's eyes held a fierce light he hadn't noticed until now. She tilted her head, waiting for him, her unwavering belief shimmering in her gaze. I mean it, she continued, you helped me feel braver. Can't you do the same? Her words nudged at the hidden fears he carried, fears he thought he could handle. But standing there with her, it felt different. She was giving him the very thing he thought he'd lost, hope. Mr. Thompson took a deep breath. You're right, Lucy. I need to focus on who I am now, not what I've done. They began to talk about the stars again, their voices floating around the kitchen as if they were in a separate universe. Each word, each shared laugh, pieced together a new narrative. Yet, in the back of his mind, the storm clouds loomed, ready to rain on their newfound connection. They could hear the faint rustle of the leaves outside, a reminder that the world continued to turn, indifferent to their moment. Can we look at the stars together later? Lucy asked, her eyes bright with anticipation. Yes, let us do that, he replied, his heart swelling with a mix of gratitude and fear. But as the evening headed towards dusk, another ping from his phone pulled his attention away. With a sinking feeling, he saw it was a call from his attorney. The implications of this connection could be grave. What is it? Lucy asked, worriedly glancing at his face. It's an important call, he mumbled, trying to keep his tone light. Maybe he could shield her from the weight pressing down on him. You can't just leave me hanging like that. She insisted, her voice firm yet soft. You promised to explain everything, right? Of course, he assured, though deep inside, the words tasted bitter. He stepped outside to take the call, panic swirling within him. I can't let her see me in this mess, he thought, pacing on the porch. But as he stood alone, the cool night air wrapped around him, carrying with it Lucy's laughter, he knew he had to confront the truth for her sake and his own. Returning inside, he felt the heaviness settle back on his shoulders like a cloak. As Lucy looked up at him, expectant and full of life, he realized that to reach the stars, he needed to pull away from the shadows. Lucy, he started, his voice trembling. There is something I have to tell you. Her smile faltered, replaced by apprehension. The light in her eyes dimmed slightly. But this was the moment he had to take. Would it open up their world or bury them both under the weight of truth? Mr. Thompson, what is it? She urged, her small hands gripping the edges of the table, anxiety dancing across her youthful features. He took a deep breath, the weight of impending honesty pressing down on him. The moment of truth was here. Lucy, I need you to listen carefully, Mr. Thompson said, steeling himself against the wave of emotions crashing in. There are things about my past, things that I'm not proud of, and I think you deserve to know. The room felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken fears. Lucy's fingernails dug into the edge of the table, her expression flickering between confusion and fear. She looked so small, yet so full of empathy. Mr. Thompson, she whispered, you can tell me anything. He swallowed hard. Years ago, I made some bad choices. Mistakes that hurt people. It cost me, a lot. My family, my friends, my peace of mind. He ran a hand through his hair, trying to keep the moment from slipping away. Those choices started a chain reaction that, well, it's still following me. Her eyes widened, and he could see the gears turning in her mind. But, you're a good person now, right? You help people. You help me. Her voice was steady, but he could feel her shaking. Yes. I try to be, he said, fighting to maintain his composure. But my past has caught up with me. The news people are talking again, digging up the things I wanted to leave behind. The weight of failure sat hard on his chest. I didn't want you to find out through an article or a rumor. Silence stretched out between them, heavy and thick as the darkest night. Lucy blinked a few times, processing every word, every implication. Finally, she leaned closer, her brow furrowed in thought. Did you hurt someone? He hesitated, the memory of those dark days too unbearable to relive fully. Yes, he admitted quietly. I didn't think about the consequences. I only thought of myself. Lucy bit her lip. But that was then, Mr. Thompson. You've changed, right? You're helping me now. Yes, he replied. I am trying to be better. But some things don't just fade away. She stood abruptly, her tiny frame filled with sudden resolve. What if we do something? We could. I don't know. Show everyone how good you are now. Maybe if they see you help more people. Her enthusiasm was contagious, yet it twisted in his heart. Her innocence was wonderful. Still, he wondered how to explain the world worn and jaded by cynicism and blame. Lucy, he said softly, it's not that simple. Why not? If you really care and want to help, then do it. Show them you're good. Her voice echoed in the small kitchen, firm but filled with pure conviction. A flicker of hope ignited in his heart. Could it really be that simple? Maybe, he started, but I'll need your help. Her eyes lit up like stars. I'm in. You could host a community event or something. Like a big party to help everyone. Mr. Thompson couldn't help but smile at her boundless energy. A big party, huh? How do you plan to pull that off? I'll help plan everything. We'll invite people in, do fun activities. You could talk to them, show them how much you care. You can help others and they'll know you're not who you were. He chuckled, a sound he hadn't felt in too long. You really think so? That people would change the way they see me? Of course. If we show them how great you are now. There it was, the very glint of hope that had flickered dimly for far too long. Okay. We'll do it, he said, the words feeling like a light lifting the burdens he carried. We'll organize something. Lucy squealed in delight, her laughter filling the space as if it could chase away the shadows still lingering near, but just then, the persistent buzz of his phone broke through their joy, a notification that would remind him that the past always had a way of intruding when least expected. He hesitated, looking down at the screen again, unease creeping in. Mr. Thompson? Lucy asked gently, noticing his distraction. I have to check this, he replied, tension creeping back into his voice. As he read the message, dread hit him like a wave. A new article was surfacing, a new accusation that could unravel everything. Lucy, wait, there's more I need to explain, he began, his heart racing as the walls seemed to close in around him. Just as the pieces began falling into place, the ground shifted beneath him again. Would they still be able to reach for the stars together, or would this new crisis pull them right back into darkness? The moment of truth was far from over. Mr. Thompson's heart raced as he stared at the screen, the words glaring back at him like an executioner's glare. He could feel Lucy's gaze piercing through, full of curiosity and concern, but he couldn't bring himself to share this new nightmare. Not yet. Is it bad? She asked, stepping closer, her tiny frame almost radiating concern. He took a deep breath, trying to summon the strength he so desperately needed. It's just more noise. People talking about things I wish they wouldn't. A furrow creased her brow. But you said we'd show everyone how great you are now. Yes, but, he began, the tension threading through his words. This article could change everything. They're saying things that aren't true. They're trying to pick at wounds that are barely healed. Lucy stepped forward, determination setting her features. Then let us fix it. We can make them see the truth. You're not that guy anymore. The innocence in her conviction caught him off guard. The fire in her spirit sent warmth flooding through him, allowing a crack of hope to emerge. What do you suggest? He asked, a weariness creeping back into his chest. Let us get together a real plan. We'll organize the party and invite everyone. They'll see you, and you can show them all the good you're doing right now. As light from the window cast soft patterns on the floor, he couldn't help but smile, picturing the event taking shape. But the gnawing anxiety lingered. But what if they don't care? What if they're too caught up in the past? We'll make them care, Lucy declared, her voice resolute. People love stories. They love to see the person behind the mistakes. We just have to show them your story. For a moment, the heavy weight of despair felt lighter. The thought of coming together to create something beautiful filled him with a warmth he had almost forgotten. Okay, Lucy, he said softly, let us do it. But I might need more than just a party to help convince them. His admission seemed to ignite a spark in Lucy's eyes. Then let us do more. We can come up with ways to show what you're doing every day. You can volunteer, help out at shelters. Get involved in the community. The urgency in her voice carried hope, but the gravity of his situation pressed heavily on him. He wouldn't be able to erase the past entirely, some people would never see beyond it. Yet here, in this moment of possibility, he put all uncertainties aside and took her hands in his. You're right, he said, overwhelmed by her unyielding spirit. We'll turn this around together. Excitement spilled from her. Yes. We can start brainstorming right now. But before they could dive into plans, his phone buzzed again. He pulled it up, dreading what more might emerge. "Mr. Thompson, please." Lucy pleaded, sensing the shift. "Don't let this ruin everything we just talked about." His pulse quickened as he read the incoming notification. This time, it was a message from Mary, his former assistant. She wrote of an ominous tone, urging him to prepare for a confrontation. His past was about to be thrust into the spotlight once more, a storm he couldn't avoid. "Lucy," he stammered, trying to think through the tension coiling in his gut. "What?" she urged, leaning in closer, her eyes wide with concern. "The past, it never really lets me go," he finally admitted, fear creeping into his tone. "I don't care about your past. I care about who you are now," she responded unwaveringly, her hands tightening around his as if to anchor him back to the present. The fight in her was contagious. They would face whatever came together. She was right, maybe it was time for a different story, one where hope triumphed over despair. Suddenly, he felt a rush of determination. "All right," he said, a newfound conviction rising in him. "Let us plan that party. Let us show them my story and prove how far I've come." But even as he spoke the words, fear gnawed at him. How would the world react? Would the truth break through the noise? As they mapped out their plans for their community event, optimism hung in the air. Yet the reminder of what awaited was an ever-looming shadow. Would they be able to turn back the hands of fate, or would those old mistakes rise up again to threaten everything he had worked for? The answer was just beyond their reach. Mr. Thompson felt a sense of urgency rise in him, fueled by Lucy's unwavering belief in him. They had a plan to shape, but deep down he knew that thoughts of the past could infiltrate at any moment. "Let us figure out the details," he said, shifting his focus back to the paper they had spread across the kitchen table, full of ideas and doodles. "If we want people to come, we need to make it special. Something that shows them who I really am now, not who I used to be." Lucy nodded eagerly, her eyes sparkling with ideas. "How about a theme that shows your work? We could call it Second Chances or something like that." Second chances. He mused, turning the phrase over in his mind. It felt right. It speaks to everyone. We all deserve a fresh start, don't we? Exactly. She exclaimed, bouncing a little on her heels. "We can have activities that highlight redemption stories, like a wall where people can write their own. Maybe even testimonials from folks you've helped. It'll be proof that change is real." Her youthful enthusiasm lifted Mr. Thompson's spirits, pushing away the knots of worry that still lingered. They spent the next hour brainstorming, the kitchen filled with laughter and sketches of what the party could embody. But as they plotted and dreamed, the shadow of his past remained, hovering just out of view. He needed to confront it. He turned to Lucy, a worried frown knitting his brows. "What if this article comes out before the party? What if it ruins everything?" Lucy was quick to respond. "Then we fight back. You can do a live video speaking your truth. Tell your story directly. You'll show them that you've changed." "Directly to the people?" he asked, a flicker of uncertainty creeping in. "What if they don't listen?" "They will. Because you're real, Mr. Thompson. People resonate with honesty. They'll see you're not just a story, you're a person who cares. We'll hit back with love." The way she spoke ignited a spark inside him. He didn't just want to fight, he wanted to inspire. "All right, then," he said, a determined smile breaking through. "We'll make this party a celebration of life and second chances. We'll do it together, and I'll tell my story." "Great. I'll start inviting everyone," Lucy said, and the excitement bubbling between them was contagious. As their planning continued late into the afternoon, Mr. Thompson's heart fluttered with a mixture of anticipation and fear. He was staring down a redemption arc so grand that it almost seemed impossible. But then, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, Mr. Thompson's phone buzzed again. This time, it was a headline thought to never resurface, the truth behind the shameful CEO, secrets uncovered. He could feel the air around him turn cold. Lucy's smile faltered as she read the title over his shoulder. What does this mean? Mr. Thompson could only stare, the room around him growing darker. It means, he said slowly, the fight for my story might be coming sooner than I thought. In that moment, the weight of reality bore down on him. Would his efforts even matter? Would the world see his truth or be blinded by sensationalism? As panic bubbled inside him, he grabbed Lucy's hand tightly. We need to act fast. But even as he said it, doubt crept in. Would their preparations be enough to change the tide, or would they only be drowned out by the tide of his past re-emerging? The answer lay just ahead, a tense moment where they would either stand together or be swept away. Mr. Thompson's heart raced as the headline stared back at him from the screen, each word a dagger to his hope. The plan they built, the dreams of sharing his new life, suddenly felt so fragile. Mr. Thompson, Lucy's voice broke through the haze of worry. What do we do now? He took a deep breath, anchoring himself. We can't let fear control the narrative. I have to show them who I've become. I want to be there for others like me, to show them they can change. But the article, if it's negative, people might not come to the party. He released her hand and pushed back from the table, standing up to pace the small kitchen. Raking his fingers through his hair, he felt the weight of the moment settle into his bones. Could he face the truth, even if it bared the raw nerve of his past? I can't let them define me, he whispered, almost as if speaking to himself. Lucy stepped up behind him. And we won tea, remember, we're in this together. If we start preparing right now, we can have a response ready before the article drops. He turned, meeting her determined gaze. You really think we can turn this around? I know we can. Her voice was filled with fire. Let us reach out to people you've helped and gather their stories. Those living testimonies will drown out the noise. A flicker of hope began to ignite within him. Her conviction was contagious. Testimonials that could work, but we need them fast. They have to be real and powerful. Then let us get to work, she said, and they dove into action. Lucy typed furiously, crafting emails and messages to past clients and colleagues. Mr. Thompson grabbed a pen and paper, jotting down names and details, recalling the lives he had fought to uplift. As the clock ticked on, they lost themselves in the shared mission, the atmosphere electric with possibilities. Each email sent felt like a lifeline, a thread connecting his present to the hope of change. Hours passed, and as the fading light cast shadows around them, they paused for a moment. Mr. Thompson glanced at the pile of encouraging responses beginning to accumulate. There were stories of resilience, personal growth, and downright inspiration. I can't believe how many people are willing to stand by me, he said, a lump forming in his throat. People see your heart. Just like I did, Lucy replied, her voice soft. This will resonate. It's not just your fight, it's ours now. The moment felt sacred, charged with the realization that vulnerability sparked connection. And that connection could be powerful. As they prepared to send the stories out onto social media, Mr. Thompson's phone buzzed again. This time, it was an alert, interviews with supporting voices of the former CEO coming soon. Panic bubbled again. Would it amplify their message or twist it into more negativity? Lucy, what if they misinterpret these stories? We'll be ready. People want to hear the truth. We'll have our own voices of hope, she declared with unwavering faith. He swallowed hard, feeling the swell of urgency rise within him. You're right. We need to do a video, something live, where I can speak directly to everyone. If this article is coming, I have to take control. Lucy's eyes brightened. That's it. You'll connect. Share your story beyond words. As they huddled together, preparing for the upcoming storm, Mr. Thompson felt his resolve solidify. But deep down, the fear lingered, twisting like a knot in his stomach. What if their effort wasn't enough? As he looked into Lucy's determined eyes, a quiet question nudged at him. Would he find the strength to face this head-on? Or would the shadows of his past consume the bright future he was fighting for? The moment was approaching fast. One video could change everything. But would it spark the hope he so desperately wanted to share or drown him in doubt once more? With the sun slowly sinking, the room felt charged with anticipation. Mr. Thompson stood at the window, watching the last rays of light stretch across the sky. They had one chance to make this count, one moment to reclaim his story. It was now or never. Mr. Thompson, can you look at the camera and just speak from your heart? Lucy's voice pulled him back from the edge of his thoughts. She had set up the camera on a tripod, a friendly blue light blinking softly, ready to capture every word. He let out a breath he didn't know he was holding, nodding as he fidgeted with his collar. What do I even say? What if they don't believe me? Doubt clawed at him again. They will. She stepped closer, her eyes steady and confident. Just be honest. Share your journey. Let them feel your truth. Truth. A small flicker of confidence ignited within him. Wasn't he that what this was all about? Facing the truth in himself, in his past, and allowing others to do the same. He took a seat in front of the camera, the warmth of Lucy's support radiating beside him. Okay, here goes, he said, his voice shaky but determined. Hello, everyone, he started, forcing a smile, even though fear danced in his stomach. My name is Mr. Thompson. Some of you might know me from. He paused, pinching the bridge of his nose as memories bubbled up. But I'm not the man I used to be. Lucy gave him a thumbs up, her silent encouragement breathing life into him. I spent years hiding behind my title, lost in shadows of my past. I struggled, made mistakes, I hurt people. But I stand before you today because I learned I can change. His throat tightened, but he pressed on. I want you all to know that transformation is possible. It's messy. It's painful. But it's worth it. I'm here for those who feel lost, just as I once did. If you're struggling, please know there's hope. It's the little things that matter. A shared word, a kind gesture, a simple invitation to be part of something bigger. Like Lucy invited me to be a part of her life when I was at my lowest. Lucy smiled softly, a spark of understanding passing between them. He continued, passion growing in his voice. And that's what this party is, a celebration of hope, resilience, and community. Let us come together as voices of support, as allies in transformation. Your story matters. Your journey is important. As he reached the end, the fire burning in his chest dissolved into vulnerability. I'm still learning, still growing. But I'm doing it alongside incredible people, like Lucy, who believe in the power of change. He glanced at Lucy, who was fighting back tears, but a radiant smile broke through. They had done it. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you, he concluded, feeling lighter than he had in years. He didn't wait to hear what people would say, he had taken control. And suddenly, the weight of the world felt a little less heavy. They finished the recording, and Mr. Thompson stood up, adrenaline coursing through him. How did it go? Beautiful. You were real, raw, exactly what people needed. Lucy beamed, a glow of pride radiating from her. Just then, his phone buzzed, a notification flashing across the screen. It was from the newspaper's site, crisis set to unfold, major company issues statement tomorrow. His heart sank as he read the words, dread crashing back in. They were about to be hit with another wave of negativity. Lucy, what if they twist this too? Panic crept back, tightening around him. Listen, she said firmly, locking eyes with him. What we did, what you said, can't be taken away. You've opened that door. Now, we have to ensure they hear the truth louder than the noise. Mr. Thompson felt the knot slowly uncoil, realization dawning. He had begun to speak his truth. But now, they needed to amplify that truth even more. What's our next step? he asked, feeling a sense of urgency bubbling within him again. Lucy didn't hesitate. We rally our supporters. We create a movement. The world needs to hear this. Her eyes sparkled with ambition. Let us not just react, let us inspire action. As they quickly got to work, adrenaline coursed through him again. The fight was far from over. But even as they strategized, a lingering question remained in the corners of his mind: could one voice truly change the way the world saw him? The day of the party arrived like a bright ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. Mr. Thompson stood in front of the door to his spacious but lonely home, and for the first time in a long while, he was filled with anticipation rather than fear. Lucy had run circles around him all morning, her infectious energy lighting up the atmosphere. Mr. Thompson. Are you ready? The people are arriving, she squealed, skipping into the living room. Her excitement was contagious. He couldn't help but match her enthusiasm. Each smile that entered the room, a neighbor, a friend, those he had served, brought with it small flickers of hope. The decorations they had put up felt like bright banners of new beginnings. As she clapped her hands, an invitation to gather, he saw it: each person in the room was ready for real change, ready to connect through shared stories and genuine compassion. Once the noise settled and everyone found their place, Mr. Thompson took a deep breath. The moment had arrived. He stood before the crowd, Lucy by his side, her tiny hand reaching up to give him a reassuring squeeze that sent strength surging through his veins. Thank you all for coming, he began, a hush falling over the room. Today, we're not just celebrating a party. We're celebrating life, our lives, our journeys, and how we can rise together. Feeling energy flow through him, he shared his truth, a truth that echoed with honesty and vulnerability. I've made mistakes, he admitted openly. I've hurt people. But I have learned, and every single face in this room reminds me that change is not just possible, it's essential. People nodded, drawn in by the rawness of his words. They felt it. They understood. And there, woven into the fabric of that moment, was Lucy's gentle smile, a reflection of their unbreakable bond. As testimonials began to flow from everyone present, stories of struggle, hardship, and resiliency poured out in waves. Each tale spoke of hope: a mother finding her strength, a neighbor rebuilding from loss, and all the while, a little girl clapping away with delight. After each story, Mr. Thompson sensed the shift happening. Hearts were mending, walls were crumbling. The moment Lucy stood up, timer in tow, brought a flurry of laughter. The room was filled with happiness, and as she beamed her joy, Mr. Thompson knew they had latched onto something profound. It's our turn to share, she exclaimed, waving everyone over. Just like we talk about the stars, we can all talk here. Suddenly, the boundaries faded. The laughter echoed, carrying with it a sense of community emboldened by acceptance. Beneath that bubble of joy, Mr. Thompson felt a pulse of gratitude rush through him. It all melted away the pain of past judgments. Only love and hope remained. Later, as the night drew to a close, the glow of shared victory lingered. Neighbors shuffled out, promises to come forward with requests to support each other sealed. Lucy leaned in close, her voice a mix of satisfaction and wonder. Did you see them, Mr. Thompson? They love you. He looked down, gratitude shimmering in his eyes. It's more than just love, Lucy. It's acceptance, trust. He knelt down to her level, the warmth of the evening shining between them. You made this happen. In that magical moment, Lucy grinned, her blue eyes sparkling brightly, radiating the same joy that filled his heart. He realized then that her kindness had cast away shadows from both their lives and allowed them to stand in the light. As he reflected on the journey, he understood that whatever storm might still come, whatever headlines might float across screens, he would face it with an open heart. We'll weather the storm, kiddo, he promised, knowing he meant every word. And together, they stepped into a future illuminated by hope, stronger than ever before, ready to embrace the stars, but more importantly, ready to embrace who they truly were. If you want to continue this journey with us and experience more stories of hope and transformation, you need to subscribe immediately. Don't wait even one more second. hit that button. And make sure to leave a like now to feed the algorithm, sharing the love. We want to hear your thoughts. Comment down below your feelings about this ending. And remember to share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support and inspire change.